All right, what's up, folks on YouTube? Just gonna do a quick little showcase of what I've been up to so far. Show you guys some cool tech items here with some uniques, namely Hate Forge and Constricting Command. My character, because I started kind of late and I also just fell asleep for 24 hours, I'm only level 66 and I have minus 50 to all resistances, but YOLO. You can see here, we are already moving nice and quick. And if you take a look in the top there, you're going to see that we are going to get permanent charges, both power, endurance, and frenzy, as well as move, zoom, 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 zoom. Again, only level 66 here, still missing a lot of stuff. But you can imagine what this will be like with, proper gear. I'm using a level like 20 unique weapon. And we'll go to town in a minute. Oh, well, there we go. We got our comeuppance for the minus res there. But in any case, I guess actually now is a good time to just sort of go over the tech stuff I was talking about. One of the things I think is massively overlooked this league is Hate Forge. Hate Forge is so good. And it isn't just... Hate Forge itself actually hasn't changed at all. And so the effect of Hate Forge is that you get between minus 10... Actually, I'll go to town in case somebody kind of meanders over here. But you get between minus 10 to plus 10 to your maximum rage. And when you hit your maximum rage, it'll give you between 1 to 3 random charges. And then you lose all of your rage when you hit max rage. Right? Now, that is the same as it was last league. Now, the reason why it's so OP this league is because of this new gem right here. Rage 3. Supported skills grant 5 rage on melee hit, and supported skills have 15% more attack speed while you are not at maximum rage. So, not only does that make it so that you can hit your max rage to gain the 3 charges incredibly quickly, but because you lose all of your rage when you hit your max rage, you are never at max rage, which means not only does this give you the effect of rage, which is more attack damage, and so in my case, because this has plus 8, that means we have 38 max, or 38 is our maximum rage, right? And so we'll go, our first hit, we go 5 rage, then 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and then after 35, our next hit will take us to 38, which will put us back down to 0, right? So we're still getting the effect of rage on a scale between 5 and 35. So 5, 10, 15, that's 5 plus 10 is 15, plus 15 is 30, plus 20, 50, plus 25, 75, plus 30, 105, plus 35, 140. And how many is that? That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 20. So we get 20 rage is the average amount of rage we'll have. So you're getting 20% more damage to your attacks. Plus you're getting 15% more attack speed. Now, why is this really good? Because of charge regulation. They actually buffed charge regulation. So at max level, it now gives 25% more crit chance while you have a power charge, 20% more defenses, and 15% more skill speed. So in our case right here, if I put this in, you can see that we have our attacks per second is 5.32. So 5.32, and then we get 1.15. So we get that by itself minus, what was it, 5.32? Minus 5.32. So we're getting almost an entire attack per second, like a 0.8 attacks per second just from that. And again, it's a base multiplier to the total. So the more skills, or sorry, the more attack speed or just base attacks per second you have, the more effective that is. And then again, because my character is so low level, I have basically no defenses whatsoever, except, more defenses applies to strength, or sorry, to ES, evasion, and energy, armor, right? So, like, let's say you had 10,000 ES, that would give you 2,000 ES on top of that. And then the more crit chance is like the most impactful probably, because the more crit chance means that, let's say you have a base crit of like 11.5 on a spear with 5%, right? Then you get 1% from struck through, right? Then you can get 15% from blindside, and then you get time, and then you get charge infusion. All of a sudden, now you've got 20% base crit, right? So if you were playing with just like your, let's say the 12.5 from the thing, you would need to have 700% increased critical chance to have crit cap. But then with the combination of blindside and the charge regulation, you only need to get 400% increase. So it literally halves the amount that you need. The fact that you can get all three of them at once is just absolutely insane. If you got a -10 to max rage version, so you only had 20 max rage, that means like every 4 times you hit, you'd be getting charges. You could even, there's a amulet, I forget the name of it, but Serpent's Egg, which makes it so that every time you gain a charge, it doubles. So you'd actually be getting 6 max charges every 4 hits. And again, we're hitting like 7 times a second right now. And we could, again, if you check out my previous theory crafting, we can get this literally to like 30 attacks per second. So you could realistically actually probably make use at a certain point with Hateforge of these, where are they? Sorry. These new support, or not new, these have always existed, but the support gems. Did they get rid of potential? Oh, they did. Sorry. Never mind. They got rid of it. Okay, I apologize. Never mind. They got rid of them. But either way, you still get that huge effect. They also increased the amount that, like, sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I'm excited. It used to be that charge regulation would consume a charge every like 5 seconds. Now it does it every, with quality, it does it every like 11 or 12. And so this is just a really easy way to get charge regulation up. So instead of having to run Combat Frenzy or using Sniper's Mark as a way to generate charges and having to worry about like freezing and electrocuting and stuff, again, you just throw on the gloves, and you're going to be able to get all of your charges taken care of. And on top of that, it also gives you the 15% more attack speed here. Plus, again, on my case, average of 20. So we get 20% more attack damage, plus 15% more attack speed, plus 15% more skill speed, plus 20% more defenses, plus 25% more crit chance. And that's all coming from this one glove, right? So that's absolutely nuts. And then the second thing I wanted to show as well is constricting command Viper Cap. And this makes it so that you have 5 fewer enemies needed to be surrounded. And now being surrounded has a ton of benefits on the tree, which I've collated into a single thing right here. But also, and I'll go over that in a second. But first and foremost, in particular, this is of interest if you're playing Whirling Slash. There's a new support gem called Defy 2, where attack damage with hits with supported skills is lucky while you are surrounded, and insufficient mana does not prevent the use of supported skills while surrounded. Now, if you see surrounded is you are surrounded if there are at least 5 enemies within 3 meters of you. But this makes it so that you need 5 fewer enemies, which means you are always surrounded. So this one support gem means that you have infinite mana, which means you can get your attack speed as high as you want and your gem level as high as you want without having to worry about the mana cost. And it makes it lucky. And lucky makes it so that it rolls twice. So, and lucky becomes better with the higher the range is between your minimum and your maximum damage. So lightning is the best skill, or the best damage type rather, to have lucky with, because lightning damage is like 1 to 70, right? Now, if you take a look at this spear here, Sky Sliver, it rolls only the minimum or the maximum value for each damage type. So if we go to our Whirling Slash, our lightning damage is 25 to 1949, right? And so this spear makes it so that it either rolls 25 or it rolls 1949. But then lucky makes it so that if it picks the 25, it rolls it again to try and get the 1949. So instead of being a 50% chance to pick one or the other, it becomes 66% chance to get the 1949. So it effectively is a 30% more multiplier. So this gives you infinite mana and a 30% more multiplier. And then if you take a look on the tree, this entire wheel is dedicated to surrounded, these 2 points, and these ones right here. And then I put them together to tell you what that gives. Oh, as well, sorry, for spears, you also get 75% melee damage while surrounded. So in total, you get 75% melee damage, 25% attack damage, 2.5% regen, 20% attack speed, 0.5 meters to dodge roll distance, 10% movement speed, 50% surrounded area of effect, 30% increased block chance, 10% increased deflection rating, 40% increased ailment threshold, 40% increased stun threshold, 100% increased attack damage, 100% increased evasion, 100% increased armor, and 145% attack damage. So if we put this all together, that's 75 damage, plus, so that's 220% increased damage, 245% increased damage, 245, 345% increased damage. 20% increased attack speed. Lucky, which is 30% more for the one that we just did there. 2.5% regen, which is incredibly good, especially if you're like CI and you have, what's it called? Zealot's Oath. Block chance, 30%. Deflection, ailment, and stun threshold. Movement speed, which doesn't matter with Whirling Slash, but again, you get that. This is just like the craziest item ever. Plus, it's also evasion based, so right now, it only gives 193 evasion, but still with the Darkness Enthroned and 2 accuracy per 1 item evasion, that still gives us almost 400 accuracy, which is obviously nowhere near like 3,400 accuracy, but when you factor in the totality of all that this offers, that's pretty nuts. So again, I'll jump back into the map. We're probably going to die again because I have such poor defenses. But again, if you take a look at my gear, it's pretty shite, right? I'm just using Wake of Destruction, Death Rush, which gives us Onslaught, Chayula so that we can be stun immune, this helmet, Pariah's Embrace for the spirit accuracy, and previously I had it for the mana cost efficiency, which doesn't matter now because we've got the Lucky. And then we've got the Spear, which has 30% increased attack speed, so it has a really high base attacks per second. And then we have the rolls only the minimum or the maximum. So now we can just stack lightning damage basically because we'll get that massive spread and that'll disproportionately favor the use of this. And then Hate Forge is going to give us all of those charges maxed out. And then again, I've got Whirling Lance here. We've got Overreach, which gives us 40% increased AoE. Expanse, which is another 50% increased AoE. So we snapshot that. I haven't even actually adjusted my passive points yet, so we can switch our passive weapon set 2 points to go purely into AoE, which will make it even bigger. But that's how we get such high AoE here. And then we'll be able to move through. And then because we shock everything, the boots make it so that we are picking up shocked ground on our whirlwind, right? And then because we're applying shocked ground to every enemy we attack, they are going to be shocked, which is why Herald of Thunder is now going off so frequently. Because Herald of Thunder makes it so that when your attack hits, so watch my mana is about to fall out. You see? That gem makes it so that the insufficient mana doesn't matter. That's actually probably the biggest DPS increase, because now you can run literally like super high level versions of Whirling Slash, and you can also not have to invest into mana cost reduction or efficiency or mana regen or any of that stuff. It's absolutely bonkers. They removed the deepest tower last league, or like, well, at the start of this league. Oh, there we go. There's a death. Either way, you catch the point, right? Really, really, really good. So again, definitely give a look out for these 2 items. They are called the Constricting Command Viper Cap and the Hate Forge. I did just craft these gloves, as the previous video would indicate, but you know, there's a chance I might stick with Hate Forge. So anyways, check those out. Don't take the defensive side of my build too seriously here. Again, I'm level 66. I just finished the axe, and I have minus 50 all res. But those items are definitely cool, and you should check them out because I'm sure they'll get much more expensive in price. All right, cheers. Cheers, boys, and enjoy. Hope you're having fun. Bye.